What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to show you how to turn a blanket like this into a crew neck like this. And this is super easy and you don't need much to create it. So yeah, let's get to it. So for this tutorial, you're going to need a crew neck, a blanket, a decent sized blanket like to fit like a bed, a sewing machine, and I don't have a video of it, but you're going to need some pins as well, like the pokey things that you use to sew with. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your crew neck and then you're going to cut off these little arm elastic things, and you're going to cut about 1 inch after the seam, so then you have room to sew it onto your blanket. And then you're going to do the same with the bottom elastic. You're going to cut it off. Make sure it's all in one piece. All of these things are all in one piece. You're going to cut off the bottom elastic all in one piece. And then hopefully your crew neck also has this top part by the neck. You're going to cut that off in one piece as well with 1 inch around it. Because it just completes it. It makes it all look like it comes together well. And yeah. Now you're going to cut the seams around your crew neck like this. You're basically going to want to have different templates to trace your blanket with. You're going to want a front template, a back template, and then you're going to want an arm template. You don't need both, you just need one. And that's what you're going to use to make your pieces. This doesn't happen too often, but mine actually is all like one piece, my front and my back. So I'm just going to cut a straight line from the bottom of the armpit all the way to the bottom, so then I will have 2 separate pieces, because mine didn't have like that seam on the side. Sometimes they're like that. Now I'm going to start by tracing my very front, because I want like a cool image on the front, so I always start with my front panel piece. I kind of just maneuver around where I'd want it to be, and then I'm also just doing a sleeve, and then I'm cutting those out. Usually I use bigger blankets, but this one's kind of hard because it's smaller. So I'm going to cut those out, and then I have my 2 pieces, and now I need a back and another arm, but I don't have enough blanket. So I'm just going to take these 2 blankets and I'm going to sew them together, and then hopefully I'm going to have enough room to make the rest. I'm just using a regular sewing machine. My width is going to be 0 and my length is going to be like 2.5, just because I just want to do a straight stitch. I don't want to do no zigzaggy stuff. Okay, now here are the pieces together, and now I'm just going to trace the back and the other arm, and they're going to be kind of like a patchwork blanket, but it's still going to look cool. Okay, now the first pieces I'm going to sew together is the front and the back. I'm just going to lay them down where the so like what's going to show needs to be touching, so the insides need to be out, and then you're going to pin from the like pointy side where the armpit is down, and then I'm going to pin also from like this straight line on the top on both sides. That's like your shoulder. So I'm just going to pin all those spots, and then I'm going to sew the same way that I did previously. Now I'm going to grab the arm pieces. Make sure you're folding these the right way. There should be like, it should line up perfectly, and then you need to just pin on this line that lines up, and then you're going to do the same to the other one, and then you're just going to be sewing down that straight line. Alright, now that we got those 3 separate pieces, you have that like main front panel. I'm just going to turn everything right side out so I can kind of see what will look good together. But basically you're going to have that main sweatshirt panel, and then you're going to have the arms. So basically I like to turn everything right side out so I can see what looks good together, because I wouldn't want like the eyes too close. Like I feel like that might look weird. So I'm just kind of maneuvering things around, seeing what would look best. And then I'm gonna stick my arm inside of it, and I'm gonna grab, this is kind of confusing, I'm just gonna grab it so I can pin them together exactly how they were. And if this is kind of confusing for you, pin it and then flip it right side out to make sure it will look good, because this is just, I don't think a lot of people do this. This is just something I kind of came up with because I like to see how it looks before. And then I'm just going to do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm going to sew it the exact way that I showed you guys in the beginning. Alright, now that everything is sewn together for the blanket pieces, we kind of get to see what we're working with. It's looking good, looking good. I'm gonna now sew those pieces we cut off of the crew neck onto it. So first we're gonna take this bottom piece. You're gonna put it on, like kind of line it up how you would think it would go, and then you're gonna flip it up, and then you're gonna pin those together. I know it's kind of confusing, so just make sure you watch closely. So you're also gonna do this to the arms and that piece up by your neck. You're gonna put it on, you're gonna flip it up, and you can see how like the blanket, there's way more blanket than of the stretchy stuff, so you need to like stretch it and pin it. It's supposed to be like this because it's supposed to like scrunch by your hand. That's like the point in the elastic. So you have to stretch it and then put it on, pin it as best as you can, and then do the same thing to the neckline. And then you're going to sew it together. So I'm going to include a clip so it's more visual. But you're going to want to try and sew as close to this like seam as you can. I'm kind of letting my foot, the edge of it, like rest there, so I have like an even seam all the way around. But some blankets do like tear, so make sure you have a good amount of like blanket like on the edge of the seam so it's not just going to rip off. And then that's it. That's how you make this really simple sweatshirt blanket. It's so cute and it's so warm, like just chilling at home or like outside. It's so nice and it's super easy. Like this video was only like 6 minutes long. This project probably took me like half an hour. At first it might take you longer, but once you get the hang of it and do multiple of them, it should take you a quick amount of time. And that is all for this week's video. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe, I release DIY tutorial videos every week. I also have a website, thriftedwolf.com. All of this is going to be in the description below, but I sell one-of-a-kind upcycled creations. And I also am going to have my Instagram and my TikTok linked below. And I also have a podcast on Spotify called the Wise Wolf Podcast if you want to check that out. And yeah, see you next week.